Tonight, a blast of frigid weather hits Saskatchewan. The province's health authority pledges solutions to hospital safety issues. And Loche marks 10 years since a deadly school shooting.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Thursday, January 22nd, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. Bitterly cold air has descended on Saskatchewan with temperatures into the minus 40s and some wind chills in some places approaching the minus 50s. Let's begin now with weather specialist Mickey Wolf. Mickey, of course, it is dangerously cold out there.
You're absolutely right, Ethan. We've got dangerously cold temperatures across the province, and we're seeing an orange level warning active from Environment Canada. Let's take a look at that because it's spanning most, if not all, of the province. So as you folks can see here, we've got orange right across Saskatchewan. What does that mean? Well, it's the second tier on Environment Canada's warning system. So it's a high impact combined with a high forecast confidence. So right now we are seeing wind chill factors down to minus 40 and then overnight minus 45 to minus 50 across the province. And let's take a look at how cold things got today across Saskatchewan. These are our wind chill values, but things were feeling like minus 48 for folks in Uranium City and down to minus 47 for Saskatoon. So Ethan, I'm going to have some details coming up in our full forecast about just how cold things are expected to get across Saskatchewan for the rest of the weekend.
Okay, thank you very much, Mickey. And this cold weather means warming centers are in full gear. Alexander Silberman stopped by Regina's Circle project to see how it is handling this cold snap.
We're here at the Circle Project, an Indigenous nonprofit stepping up to help vulnerable people get through this extreme cold snap. Right now, temperatures are into the minus 30s, and with the wind chill, it's plunging into the minus 40s, making people extremely at risk of getting frostbite in just minutes of exposure. So this nonprofit has activated its cold weather response plan, stepping up to provide some additional services. They're handing out all sorts of warm coats, mitts, boots, scarves, gloves, handing out hand warmers as well. We're going to show you a look around this center and some of the services they're offering for people in need. People have been walking through these doors since early this morning for a hot lunch. There's soup being served, sandwiches, and also to be connected with different services. We've been speaking with some of the team here, including the housing director, who said that some of the people walking through these doors have been shaking, shivering from the cold, and have been needed to stand by a heater and just take some time to warm up and get out of the cold.
I'm so concerned. I'm always praying, like for real. I'm praying for our people in North Central. I just pray for a lot of people because, you know, they're walking around, the ones that are homeless that need the help, you know, and what can you do, right? But at Circle Project, we do our best. If they come here, we try warm them up.
So staff here have been serving up dozens of hot drinks, coffee, hot chocolate throughout the day to people walking through these doors to try and warm up and get out of the cold. They also have a hot soup station going over here and some tea for people walking through these doors looking for a bit of an escape from those frigid temperatures. So there's a strong call out there for people to go to warming centers across the city and in communities across the prairies with the big concern here just helping people survive this extreme cold weather. Alexander Silberman, CBC News, Regina.
And the province has announced it is providing just over $1 million to be divided between 3 Regina warming centers. That includes 7 Fires Warming Shelter, which is being operated by Neo-Utina Friendship Center. Carmichael Outreach is another recipient, as is the All Nations Hope Network's Owasso space, which will be able to increase its hours with the extra money.
This is a life or death situation, frankly, for people who are outside right now. And so for us to be able to open up additional spaces in different locations is incredibly important to keep our residents safe.
The Saskatchewan government is also taking action against weapons and violence in hospitals. The health minister and the Saskatchewan Health Authority announced their plans to address the problem at a news conference Thursday. Helena Mahalik has that story.
a public review of Saskatchewan hospitals, and mandatory metal detectors. All solutions the government is implementing to increase hospital safety. It says metal detectors recently installed in emergency rooms in Saskatoon and Regina are already working.
Initial reports indicate that metal detectors at these sites have already resulted in weapons being confiscated, and they are also having a deterrent effect.
The announcement comes in the wake of incidents involving weapons at St. Paul's Hospital in Saskatoon and the death of patient Trevor Dubois after an altercation with security at Royal University Hospital. 51 security officers will be hired to run the metal detectors initiative, with plans to expand it to Prince Albert and North Battleford in the coming months. But the province's health minister says he doesn't understand why weapons are being brought to hospitals in the first place.
I can't think of a situation where bringing a weapon into a healthcare facility is going to improve my care experience. There's no need for these weapons to be in our healthcare facilities. Absolutely not. Not for the patient and not for the healthcare workers.
A public safety review will also look at current safety and security policies, and recommendations will be made to improve on those by an independent third party. The province's opposition says it's something frontline workers have been pushing for.
They've been raising the alarm bells for months, and they would have said we need to look at this seriously. So I think overall welcome, but some concerns and need to see some actuals of how this is going to roll out.
There is no timeline yet as to when the public review will take place or how long it will take to be finished. Helena Mahalik, CBC News, Saskatoon.
The opposition NDP is also launching a petition against the rate hike at SaskPower. The Crown Corporation has proposed a 4% hike for this upcoming year and next year. The NDP says the hike is unacceptable as people deal with the increased cost of living.
This is a government who has doubled the provincial debt to $40 billion in this premier's term alone. And now they're passing that $40 billion bill on to taxpayers. It's time for a government that actually values and respects public money.
Young says the opposition will take its petition to the provincial government and the panel currently reviewing the proposed rate hike. A woman who helped a teenager flee the scene of a shooting in Saskatoon is going to prison for 5 years. Caitlin McGilvery learned her sentence after pleading guilty to being an accessory after the fact to murder. The victim was 20-year-old Jordana Kucher, who was shot outside the Copper Mug pub on 8th Street in November 2024. Last year, a male youth pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and received the maximum youth sentence in the case. McGilvery admitted she was with the teen and helped him leave in a taxi. Thursday marked the 10th anniversary since the deadly shootings at a Loche high school, and dozens of people in the community gathered in remembrance. Aliyah Marco Omene reports.
It's a day many in this province won't forget. The scenes from Loche on January 22, 2016. The day a 17-year-old shot and killed his two cousins, 17-year-old Dane and 13-year-old Drayden Fontaine, later opening fire inside Dene High School, injuring 7 people and killing 2 others. Teacher Adam Wood, and teaching assistant Maury Janvier. Janvier's cousin says it still feels like it happened just yesterday.
For my family, we were quite devastated because we were really close with Maury. Maury was my cousin. She spent a lot of time with my immediate family. She was in my home frequently. She went on family trips with us. It was devastating and heartbreaking, and we still, to this day, we think about her all the time.
The school is usually closed on the shooting anniversary, but this year, for the first time, it's remained open for a special ceremony, one that honors the victims as well as the resilience of the community. Loche's mayor telling those gathered that healing requires courage, honesty, and community.
We return to these memories again and again, not because we want to, but because healing requires courage, honesty, and community. And Loche has shown courage, Loche has shown honesty, Loche has shown community.
Herman says community members have shown unwavering dedication to its healing. including survivors, families, teachers, and first responders. And he notes a number of new mental health supports and programs put in place to help prevent similar situations. For Jan Vier's family, their healing journey continues.
You know, the hurt never goes away, but there's resiliency there. There is wisdom that comes from tragedy. There's strength that comes from tragedy.
Aliyah Marco Omene, CBC News, Regina.
Well, this frigid weather at least providing some picturesque moments in downtown Saskatoon Thursday morning, especially with all the steam coming off the South Saskatchewan River. As Mickey alluded to, we are not done with this cold snap just yet. She is back with her full forecast after the break. Ahead of a cabinet retreat, Prime Minister Mark Carney had a message for Canadians Thursday. He also had something to say following Donald Trump's swipe at him in Switzerland. Olivia Stefanovic reports.
In a fortress originally built to defend from an American invasion, the Prime Minister is gathering with his cabinet to plan for the battles ahead.
Our values must be fought for. That's what we are doing. That's what Canadians want. Canadians are up for it.
And for the first time, Mark Carney is responding to Donald Trump's direct criticism at the World Economic Forum.
Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark.
Where the president called out the Prime Minister by name.
Canada and the United States have built a remarkable partnership in the economy, in security, and in rich cultural exchange. But Canada doesn't live because of the United States. Canada thrives because we are Canadian.
Carney delivering yet another impassioned speech, this one aimed at Canadians, after drawing both praise and pushback for condemning coercion by great powers before an international audience.
That was an important moment for the Prime Minister to show his leadership.
Carney setting the tone for the federal government's direction as it navigates growing geopolitical tensions.
We can only control what we can control as a cabinet and as a country, but I'm not going to pretend that it won't be difficult over the next little while.
And faces increasing pressure to address domestic concerns over affordability and a slow economy.
They do have to start to really point to things that they're doing, and people need to start feeling that there's at least some progress, right?
This pollster says Canadians largely understand solutions take time, but for this minority government, there may not be much runway left.
If there's a liability, it's that, and they need to perhaps do better in making people feel that things are going to get better, that create a little more optimism about how things are going to go over the next number of months and years.
Carney says his government needs to execute its agenda fairly and fast, but he still faces challenges translating those words into action. With Parliament set to return from its winter break next week and no sign the opposition is willing to be more cooperative. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Quebec City.
There's new outrage about the actions of U.S. immigration officers in Minnesota after a preschooler was taken by ICE.
Why detain a 5-year-old? You can't tell me that this child is going to be classified as a violent criminal.
School officials say 5-year-old Liam Ramos was detained along with his father after arriving home from school on Tuesday. They say the child could have been left with his mother, who was inside. Both father and son are now in an ICE detention facility in Texas. The U.S. Vice President says the father is an illegal immigrant who ran from authorities, and ICE apprehended the child for his own safety.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are we doing?
Weather specialist Mickey Wolf is back now with a look at the full forecast. I'm sure hoping that this is the coldest it's going to get this winter, Mickey.
Ethan, I hope so too. All fingers are crossed, toes are crossed. We're all hoping that this is the last we'll see of this brutal cold snap we've been facing across the province. Let's take a look at some of our daytime highs, if you can call them that. It was chilly right across Saskatchewan today. Maple Creek saw a base temperature of -12, still the warm spot for the province along with Val-Marie. But then again, these are not showing the wind chill factors we saw. Now much of the southwest is included in that orange level cold warning we have active for Saskatchewan. Our skies right now, though, if it's any solace, are quite clear as we get into the evening, and that's going to stay as a trend for the next few days. So we've got another nice clear day ahead of us tomorrow. At least the skies are gorgeous with that high pressure system making its way out of the province. Then Saturday, we've got a little bit of cloud cover to contend with in the morning before a clear afternoon. Then as we get into Sunday morning, we might start to see a little bit of snowfall in the north, but so far not a lot to report across the province. Now, I just wanted to take a brief look at our winds gusting tonight. We've got gusting just up to 35 for Estevan, that's 35 kilometers an hour, up to 40 kilometers an hour in Yorkton. So that's going to create a very chilly evening for folks in that area. But then thankfully, we are seeing those winds calm as we get into the weekend. As for snowfall, the north might see a few centimeters as we get into Sunday, potentially up to 5 centimeters for Uranium City. But let's take a look at that temperature trend. We are seeing pretty much white across the board for Saskatchewan, but then as we get into Saturday and Sunday, the blue starts to return. So that means just a little bit of a warm up. But for now, we've got cold temperatures tomorrow morning down to, with wind chill, -49 for Saskatoon. That might be the cold spot tomorrow morning. We'll have to wait and see, but let's take a look at our week ahead because things will warm up as we get into Monday and Tuesday. And I don't know about you, but I have never been so thankful to see -15. It feels balmy by what we've been seeing in the province over the last 2 days and what we will expect to continue at least into Saturday night. For Saskatoon, it is much of the same. We are going to have a brutally cold day tomorrow, but then we look forward to Monday as things start to warm up just a little bit, Ethan. So I have to say, I'm looking forward to Monday. Feels a little funny to say that, but it's a warmer day for us.
Yeah, it sure will be. Okay, thank you, Mickey.
Thank you.
Well, the spotlight will be on Canada's Olympians over the next couple of weeks. One squad that's hoping for big success is the short track speed skating team. Sarah Levitt has this preview.
It's go time for Canada's short track speed skating team just 2 weeks shy of the Winter Olympics. And expectations are high for the 10 athletes, led by the champions of this year's season, William Dangenou and Courtney Sereau.
That team is one of the best teams we've ever had, and I just wanted them to realize it and to keep pushing it.
Marc Gagnon knows what he's talking about. He was part of the winningest short track team in Canadian Olympic history, bringing home 6 medals at the 2002 Winter Games in Salt Lake City. Today's team hopes to break that record and bring in 7.
I feel like it can happen. I hope it'll happen. It probably happened, honestly.
Dangenou fell just shy of qualifying for the Beijing Olympics in 2022, but has since proven himself a formidable opponent.
The focus is to be as prepared as I can. Obviously, I know what I can do, and you guys tend to remind me of what I can do. And I feel like I can do great things.
The team is going to be skating in style with helmets made exclusively for them by a 20-year-old Quebecer.
William, voilà mon gars.
A speed skater and artist, Simon Olivier Côté, added a little bit of individuality into each helmet, like the fleur de lis to represent Quebec.
I'm sure they're going to do super well. And knowing the fact that they're going to wear my helmets, this is surreal. This is really cool.
For Courtney Sereau, the hype of the Olympics is a sidebar. She wants to treat it like any other competition.
I'm happy that my best season is the one going into the Olympics, I guess, to say the least. With that said, it does put, I guess, if I think about it too much, maybe I could put pressure on myself.
Still, representing Canada in the highest level of sport is an honor, every athlete on the ice says. One they won't soon forget, made all the better if they come home with gold. Sarah Levitt, CBC News, Montreal.
Winter games of another kind in Saskatoon. Thursday marked the start of the Knights of Columbus indoor games at the Saskatoon Field House. It is expected to draw more than 3,000 student track and field athletes locally, nationally, and internationally. The games run until Saturday. Stay with us. We're back after the break. Thank you for staying with us. It is Academy Award season once again, and the nominees for the 98th Oscars are...
Thank you for joining us as we announce our nominees for the 98th Oscars.
One movie made Oscar history. Sinners pulled in a total 16 nominations, breaking the record set by All About Eve, Titanic, and La La Land. And a few Canadians may land some awards too. And the award for the coldest forecast in the world goes to weather specialist Mickey Wolf.
Thank you, Ethan. It's an honor to receive this weather Oscar. Thanks so much for the cold weather we're seeing across Saskatchewan tonight. We've got a really cold one in store for us, folks. Let's take a look at some of this potentially maybe record-setting cold temperatures we're seeing across the province tonight. We've got those temperatures well below -30, folks, and that's not including the wind chill factor of what you're seeing here on the screen. And taking a look at the north, we've got an exceptionally cold night for Stony Rapids. Again, these are the base temperatures, not including that wind chill factor, and we will see things feel closer to -50 tomorrow morning in the very far north, and near -45 for the Churchill region. And things should warm up a little bit to wind chill factors near -40 as we get into the day. And it's much of the same for the south and central regions. We are going to see wind chill near -40 for a lot of south and central Saskatchewan as we get into the day tomorrow, but hopefully those sunny skies make things feel at least a little bit warmer, and we're likely going to see an end to this cold snap as we get into Sunday. So Ethan, I'm looking forward to the Oscars because hopefully that'll mean we are far out of this cold snap we're seeing now.
Well, take a bow for a well-prepared forecast, no matter how cold it is. Here we go. Mickey Wolf, ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you, Ethan.
And finally, another successful CBC Saskatchewan Future 40 is in the books, and the 10 winners have now been announced. They include a 12-year-old climate activist, a 19-year-old who's already leading a local nonprofit, a champion for women's rights and freedoms, and a rugby coach who's also a champion whistler. Yes, you heard that right. You can read all about our 10 Future 40 winners by heading to cbc.ca/future40sk. Congrats to all of them. That is our news for this Thursday. For news anytime, you can always head to cbc.ca/Sask or subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel or download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching.